and welcome at our look at the 2005 DTM season. A fascinating battle over 11 races. And joining the series this year, some very big names, including former Formula 1 champion Mika Häkkinen.
Yes, hello, this is Mika Häkkinen. Welcome to DTM and come to Hockenheim.
Yes, indeed, it was at Hockenheim where Häkkinen started his return to motor racing after a couple of years off. Hockenheim, of course, always hosts the opening and closing rounds of the German Touring Car Masters, the DTM. Defending champion was, of course, Mattias Ekström from Sweden in Audi, and here he is signing autographs. He won it last year by just beating out Gary Paffett, the British driver for Mercedes-Benz. So what would happen in this first race? It was Ekström on the pole, it was Paffett second on the grid, and Jamie Green, the British newcomer, in third place. He dropped back. But this first corner at Hockenheim always sees lots of action. And the opening race of 2005 was no exception. Capello involved with that, Christensen, Aiello, and a heavy hit for Tom Christensen. Let's see it again. See problems at mid-pack, and all of a sudden, cars spinning, Aiello spinning across the pack and being hit.
An Opel, I think Laurent spun in the first corner and just he crossed the track when I was there, and then I had no chance to avoid this car, and was quite a hard impact.
Here's a different angle, and you see Capello spinning in the middle of the pack there, and then the black car of Aiello goes across, and then Christensen gets collected. Bang!
Coming into turn one, there was a lot of things happening out on the wet stuff, and by the time I arrive, Aiello, I think, comes out of the darkness, out of the smoke, and initially I want to go inside of him, but he keeps rolling, and in the end I brake, and more or less at the time I brake, I get a big hit from the back and push me into Aiello, which is then an even higher impact.
So the season starting with that big bang. Off they go again. Let's see the start from a different view. And Gary Paffett with the green mirrors on the silver Mercedes getting away. And Paffett into the lead from his arch rival, but also friend Mattias Ekström. There you see the positions then, 6 laps officially on the board after that incident. Meanwhile, more spins up at the hairpin. And Heinz-Harald Frentzen very much involved in that, another ex-Grand Prix driver who has been a regular in the DTM now for a couple of seasons. What a first DTM race from Jamie Green, though, going very well. Pit stops, of course, 2 each, mandatory in this series. There they go out again, and after the pit stops, it was Alesi in the lead. Jean Alesi with some very good tactics. And look at this, spinning out Marcel Fassler after nudging young Bruno Spengler, one of several drivers who'd come from the Euro F3 season of 2004. On board now, and some great shots too, and you hear them going down the gearbox. Oh, action replay here. Jamie Green trying to find a way past Ekström. The back end stepping out, corrects it into the gravel. Jamie Green paying the price there and showing his inexperience in a DTM car. But here is Jean Alesi in a commanding lead from Gary Paffett at this opening round of the 2005 DTM. Bernd Schneider is in third place. It's Mercedes-Benz, 1, 2 and 3. And going wide in the black car is Mika Häkkinen, taking a little time to get to grips with the DTM. But a win for Jean Alesi. And he's certainly very happy with that, and a very good start to the season for Mercedes-Benz. First, second and third.
I'm extremely happy, you know. Last year I didn't win any races, and that was tough for me. I had a tough winter because, you know, in our team we are tough workers, and when you cannot bring anything to your team, they ask you, are you sure you want to continue, and are you sure you want to be motivated for the whole season? That is the best answer I can give for everybody, to be first.
Yes, a very motivated Jean Alesi, and the bubbly sprays. And we move on then to the second round, staying in Germany, the Euro Speedway Lausitz. And this race on May the 1st.
Hello, I'm Matthias Ekström. Welcome to Euro Speedway.
Yes, indeed, the Euro Speedway built as an oval with the road course in between, and built on a plot of land which was once a coal mine. Situated between Berlin and Dresden, a very modern facility indeed, has a massive grandstand. Cars being pushed into position, and this is where Gary Paffett won last year and then was disqualified because when he got the car to the post-race Parc Fermé, there wasn't enough fuel for them to take a sample. So he was disqualified, and he'll be looking to avenge that right here on this May Day. This was the start then, and Paffett, remember, Mercedes-Benz silver with the lime green mirrors there, into the lead. Mika Häkkinen, though, a very good start, had qualified very well. The former McLaren world champion coming to grips with Mercedes pretty quickly. Jamie Green going well again. There is a replay of the start, that very tight left-hander. Very similar to the Daytona track, the way that spears off the oval. We can see it again. A few cars a little slow away. And some lock-ups into the first corner, but everybody makes it. After 9 laps, it was Gary Paffett who continued to lead this race. We're on board with Tom Christensen as he tries to get past Bruno Spengler. There is Jamie Green with the orange mirrors. Christensen then spitting flames out. And here comes Ekstrom trying to find a way past Jamie Green. And bang into Jamie Green's door.
Jamie was defending his position as good as he could, and on the other hand I wanted to pass, and I decided to take a bit risk, and it was a shame because I touched him and he went in the gravel.
Yeah, the risk was a bit too much, I think there. Häkkinen coming in for his first pit stop. Stops on the marks, up on the pneumatic rams. Problem with one of the rams, the car drops and then spears round. Problems then for the team here. And disappointment for Häkkinen, loses a lot of time. Christensen and Häkkinen pitting together. This is the second round of pit stops. Christensen, no problems at all. What about Häkkinen? Well, this time, no problems for him, and he accelerates away, but meanwhile, out front it was Gary Paffett still in the lead. Christensen in second place, and Häkkinen in third. And here is Paffett, avenging the problems of a year ago, takes the checkered flag at Euro Lausitz. And the rest of the field coming through. The air horns go off, and Gary Paffett certainly a very happy man indeed. A superb dominant drive from the youngster.
Yeah, I mean, I made a very good start again. I got in the lead at the start.
I pushed pretty hard to start with and got a bit of a gap to Mika, and then before the first pit stop I held the same sort of gap, and again after the second pit stop tried to push quite hard, and then I don't know anything that happened behind, but after the second pit stop I got into a rhythm and I was about 10 seconds ahead. So there it was a case of just saving the tyres a bit, not pushing too hard, but not relaxing too much.
So 2 races down, 2 Mercedes wins, as the team headed off for a circuit new to the DTM and one of the most magnificent racing circuits in the world, Spa-Francorchamps, and absolutely everybody was looking forward to this, including Heinz Harald Frentzen.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, so motorsport fans, welcome to Spa on the great and fantastic racetrack, and I'm really enjoying, looking forward what's going to happen.
Yes, indeed, Spa, with all that history, situated some 50 kilometres to the west of Aachen in Germany, close in fact to the Belgian-German border.
Spa is, I think, in every single driver, it's in their top 3 circuits of the world, and even in the difficult wet conditions like we experienced today, you still have a great sensation. But Eau Rouge is always going to live up there in my memory as one of the best corners in the world as well.
Yes, indeed, and Alan McNish, a rookie in the DTM for 2005.
To drive on this track, it's a lot of emotion, a lot of nice feeling. A special corner like L'Eau Rouge, where there is a big compression, and I have to say you have fun.
So the start, Mika Häkkinen on pole, Ekstrom in second place, Christian Abt, a very good qualifying in third. Into the last source hairpin for the first time. Ekstrom leads, Häkkinen goes out wide, down the hill. And down into the corner they were talking about, the famous Eau Rouge with that big compression. And Ekstrom it is who leads. The much newer bus stop section, altered slightly for 2005. That would surely see some action. On board here with Laurent Aiello in the Opel. Fässler starting well up in third place ahead of Christensen. We'll see that start again. And one car away very slowly indeed. But a very clean start from the Audi driver, Ekstrom. Man has spent nearly all his career racing touring cars. Right at the start, the person we saw going slowly, incidentally, was Jamie Green, and a penalty apparently for Gary Paffett. Well, this was quite contentious. Here is Christian Apt's view. Out of his windscreen, Ekstrom, Häkkinen, Fässler, Christensen, a lazy Abt. Now this is what Paffett was penalised for, and there you see Paffett spinning round Pierre Caffer. Many thought it was just a racing incident, but he had to take the penalty. There we see it again. Well, there wasn't much room in that chicane, and around goes Pierre Caffer, fresh from the American Le Mans series in 2004. Another newcomer to the Audi team. Here's the Ekstrom pit stop, and problems when a rear nut cross-threaded. So Ekstrom loses just the vital second or so, and Mika Häkkinen was thus in the lead. Häkkinen out of the pits there. And Mika Häkkinen leading Matthias Ekstrom. Ekstrom puts his lights on to try and intimidate the former world champion, but he's difficult to be intimidated through Eau Rouge, absolutely on the limit. So, a big battle at the front. The DTM champion versus the 3 times world champion. Spa certainly living up to its reputation here. Here is Bernd Schneider, and a clash with the Aiello Opel, and that saw him crash into the barriers. Look at that, bang! Some 230 kilometres an hour. He stepped away a little bruised as Mika Häkkinen won in only his third DTM outing. A great drive from him, and he was a happy man.
It's a good result. It's a fantastic result. I mean, it did not come easily. You know, it's been a really hard work behind all the time. But the team generally just has been fantastic for me. They've really been helping me. All the drivers been helping me. We all together. We had a very good spirit together at the moment. That keeps pushing forward all the time in developing a car and making better results. And even the extra weight what we have, you know, it doesn't seem to affect. So it's great. A lot of reasons to be happy.
Yes, indeed. So 3 Mercedes-Benz victories in the first 3 races. 3 different drivers. Would it be different at round 4 at Brno in the Czech Republic? Of course, they've been racing at Brno for some 70 years. They used to run on the famous 29-kilometre track known as the Ring, but now they have a modern facility of 5.4 kilometres, and it's still a very tough racetrack indeed. On the pole, Gary Paffett again. Heinz-Harald Frentzen is second, Christensen third. At the start, a blinder from Frentzen. They head into turn 1 with the red Opel in the lead of the pack, with Paffett in second place. But Paffett had jumped the start, anticipated it, then checked up and then went again. Didn't really help him, but officials saying that he had jumped the start was Gary Paffett's championship chase coming off the rails. Problems with the penalty in the previous round at Spa, and now again. Oh, in the background, are coming together between Pierre Caffa, Marcel Fasler, and I think Bernd Schneider also involved. We see it again. And there is Fasler going round in the Opel.
Yeah, actually I had really a good start, and I could win some positions, and on the braking to the second corner Bernd Schneider hit me on the rear left wheel. So I spun, and it was not actually a position fight. I think he just was missing the braking point and was a bit too late.
Let's have a look at that start again. Watch, Paffett's car just creeps a little bit, checks up, but that was adjudged to be a jump start, and for the second race in a row, a penalty for Gary Paffett. Their confirmation of that penalty. But Heinz-Harald Frentzen certainly looking as if he's going to give Opel their first points of the season. Opel, of course, announcing sadly they will not continue in the DTM for 2006. Here's Ekstrom's pit stop. The Audi team, quick and efficient. 2 different shapes of Audi in 2005 as McNish leads for the moment. And just look at that, Ekstrom out in front of Heinz-Harald Frentzen. Christensen in third place, McNish yet to make his pit stop. Yes, 2 different shapes of Audi. Some cars running with the new large grille, others with the smaller grille. The App team running the 2005 shaped cars, and Yost running the 2004 machines. But it's 2005 Audis in the front here. And Heinz-Harald Frentzen dropping back behind Tom Christensen. And Jamie Green just allowing Gary Paffett to pass. Paffett, the more senior team member. But a great finish there, and Ekstrom takes it from Christensen and the Audi flags certainly wave.
Definitely it's a nice place to come when I have 2 victories after 2 times, so I think it's a very good result both for me and also for Audi that we are having a 1-2 victory, and it was very important for us in the championship.
Yes, indeed. So Ekstrom certainly putting himself in a very good place in the championship as we move on and back to Germany for the 5th round. Now here's a man new to the DTM and enjoying it.
Hi, my name is Alan McNish and welcome to Oschersleben.
Yes, Alan, probably new to this circuit, the former Renault tester, F1 tester, Toyota Grand Prix driver, and of course Le Mans winner with Porsche. Well, this track was built between June 1996 and July 1997, the MOTORSPORT Oschersleben. Another excellent facility, drivers being paraded in front of the large crowd here. Had some tremendous crowds all through the year in the DTM. So getting ready for the start, Christensen on the pole, Martin Tomczyk in the Red Bull Audi is second, Gary Pavitt is in 3rd place, Christensen can't get away, and Christensen drops back to 19th place, and it's Jamie Green who leads, the Euro F3 champion from Leicester in England. But let's have another look at that start again, see what actually happened there. Yeah, a stall from Tom Christensen, and this is what he had to say about it a little later.
The car has been perfect, obviously, in qualifying. It was a fantastic lap. The team, everything was ready for the race. I made the mistake. The engine stalled, and I had to restart the engine, and obviously nobody waited in this championship.
Yeah, certainly nobody waits, and some phenomenal avoidances there. And Christensen dropping all the way down the field with a lot of work to do. Pit stops here, and look at Jamie Green sliding side by side with Gary Pavitt, the 2 Brits together. But some team orders maybe. Pavitt, the senior member of this team, and Green drops in behind him. But certainly Jamie Green, one of the revelations of this championship as a rookie. With Matthias Ekstrom here. And Ekstrom moving up past the other Red Bull car of Tomczyk and chasing after Jamie Green. Ekstrom flying by then as Green starts to slide his car around with no grip left in the tyres. Tomczyk with a problem, the right front suspension collapsing. He's over the curb, into the gravel, and the end of Martin Tomczyk's fine run. But it was Gary Pavitt who takes the win. Second, Ekstrom, and third, Jamie Green. A very good result for that young man.
Definitely, it's the result I've been looking for, and to get my first podium, it's a really good feeling. It's been a difficult start for me this year, and especially in the races I've struggled a little bit, so it's good to keep improving, and I've never raced here before, so to get my first podium here is a bit of a surprise, but I think that shows good potential for the future, so I'm happy to be here.
Yes, so Jamie Green as a rookie gets a podium, running in a 2005 car incidentally. As we move on to Nuremberg, to the Norisring, this fascinating street circuit with so much history, and always with a very large crowd indeed.
Hi, I'm Gary Pavitt, and welcome to the Norisring. I won here last year, so I really like this track and hope to try and repeat the victory this year.
Yes, lots to do for the spectators here. There's the Dutzend Lake close by, and the circuit also very close to the centre of the town, which of course is famous for its Christmas market. Also on the programme, what they called the Race of Legends, with some very big names indeed, Nigel Mansell and Emerson Fittipaldi. That was a good event for Saturday. Jody Scheckter there trying out his car. And it turned out to be a series of sprints. 6 world champions in all here. Alan Prost, Nigel Mansell, Emerson Fittipaldi, Jody Scheckter, and motorcycle world champions Mick Doohan and Johnny Cecotto. But we move on to Sunday's race, the DTM round. Tom Christensen off the pole, and is he into the first corner? Will it be Gary Paffett and Bruno Spengler right up there, the young French-Canadian? Christensen wins the duel into the first corner with Paffett. Behind, Frentzen, McNish and Pierre Caffer all collide. And finally they sort it out. Meanwhile, at the leg hairpin, look at this. And Mika Häkkinen is spun round absolutely wildly by Jamie Green.
Looks like Ekstrom and the Jamie Green, they had a overtaking situation, and Jamie was not able to stop the last corner, and he crashed back into my car, and my race was over. But very disappointing.
Certainly disappointing. The safety car came out. So some of the sting taken out of this race. And look at Capello smashing into the wall. Very hard indeed. A big hit for the former Le Mans winner. He leaves the shattered rear end behind and crabs his way into the pit lane. His race no doubt done. Meanwhile, Gary Paffett and Matthias Ekstrom are at it. Here they are, absolutely side by side, the two big rivals. Very bumpy, this Norisring circuit. And Margaritas, another ex-F3 driver, just in front of them in the orange car. But certainly very strongly into the hairpin goes Paffett. And Laurent Aiello clashes with the orange car, and Margaritas spins him around. So Margaritas learning a trick or two from the French driver who's been in touring cars for well over a decade. He knows the tricks. Although, as you see from that chart, had a very high top speed with his car. Past the pits once again, Paffett in the front. And Paffett on a very big charge indeed here, battling with the Audi squad, but after having an outstanding run. Meanwhile, more action further down the pack, and Spengler getting involved there, and Bernd Schneider spinning round. Well, it's all been happening here at the Norisring. On to the last lap. And Gary Paffett it looks as if he's heading for another victory. A spin there, Reuter. And Reuter ramming Ekstrom. Ekstrom's car will limp home with the bits falling off it. They're certainly not happy there. Well, that all looked a bit desperate from Manuel Reuter. There they are on the Mercedes-Benz team management place. And amazingly, the Ekstrom car still going without the front bodywork. But meanwhile, it is Gary Paffett who wins it for Mercedes-Benz. And Christian Abt will come home in second place in one of the 2004 cars.
But Gary did a fantastic job. We were slightly handicapped, or badly handicapped, I have to say, after the first safety car, when the safety car came out. But after the second one, we made, when the safety car came the second time, we made 2 stops in a row. That was key for Gary's win. And he had the speed to push. He overtook after his second pit stop in one lap 3 cars, and did a great job thanks to the team and thanks to Gary.
So Paffett sprays the bubbly, and this championship looking very much now as a big battle between Ekstrom and Paffett for the second year running. As we move on to round 7 at the Nürburgring. The man who welcomes us here, Mika Häkkinen.
Hi, this is Mika Häkkinen, and come to see the race in Nürburgring.
Yes, the famous Nürburgring. Of course, now they race on the modern circuit. There's the Schloss, which overlooks it, and just there, the part of the old Nordschleife heading down into the forest. Some 100,000 fans on hand here to see the continuing battle between Gary Paffett and Matthias Ekstrom, and also, of course, to see drivers like Mika Häkkinen and Alan McNish, who was in the points in the previous race. So Alan coming to grips with his Audi DTM car. Gary Paffett was on the pole here. Häkkinen second, Ekstrom third. Wet weather meant a rolling start behind the safety car. Once that had peeled off, it was Paffett ahead of Häkkinen and Ekstrom. Some very different lines round that very slippery hairpin bend after the pits. Let's see Bernd Schneider then, still looking for his first win of the season, going in a bit too deep. Schneider, of course, the most successful driver of all time in the DTM. And here he is coming into the pits, together with Matthias Ekstrom, who will make the quicker stop. Wheels go on, and Schneider gets away very smartly indeed. Beats out Ekstrom. And both of them switching to slick tyres on this drying circuit. Gary Paffett, though, currently in the lead. Pit stops coming up for him. Tom Christensen very late on the brakes. Christensen on a charge, but track conditions changing all the time. There goes Paffett, and there goes Ekstrom out just in front of Mika Häkkinen. Well into the race now, with Gary Paffett there back onto the track.
I don't remember doing it. I was quite surprised to see I was very surprised to see the drive-through penalty. I didn't know what it was for, so I don't remember doing it, and obviously it was a mistake that I didn't really realise what I was doing. So.
Yeah, but the penalty was for just crossing the white line as he came out of the pits, and Mika Häkkinen too deep into that corner, spins it around in an unusual way, and gives the people in the Mercedes arena plenty to watch. But all that was an attempt to pass Ekstrom, which went disastrously wrong. But despite his problems, Paffett making the quick stop-go penalty, moving back up through the field. Possibly some Mercedes team orders coming into play. Mika Häkkinen allowing him to pass there. But maximum points for Matthias Ekstrom. Tom Christensen makes it an Audi 1-2.
At the beginning on rain tires, we did not completely be able to go the speed that Gary did. But we didn't fall so much back. At the first pit stop, Matthias had an excellent pit stop itself, but then was just standing on his place and spinning the wheels. It was so slippery. He didn't move at all, so he lost a little bit of time there. But then with the slicks, I think the speed was there where we had been in qualifying. That means a strong team effort. Okay, at the end, Gary made his big error, which helped us to come in front. But after that, our cars could go the pace and stay with more or less the same distance to difference to the end. I think it was an excellent race for us.
Yes, and just look at the points. 1 point separating Ekstrom from Paffett. Tom Christensen in third place as they move on to the 8th of 11 races at Zandvoort in Holland. The race amongst the dunes, of course, and always some good DTM action from here.
Hi, welcome to Zandvoort and the DTM. I'm looking forward to this weekend because it's a circuit where I won the European F3 Championship last year.
Yes, Zandvoort by the sea. I wonder if these fans will be off to the race circuit later. Some heroics there from the windsurfers, and some heroics coming up for the drivers too. There you see a superb shot of the circuit. How close it is to the actual seaside. Bernd Schneider with a smile on his face because he was on the pole. Marcel Fasler qualified second. Heinz-Harald Frentzen in third position. Who would win the sprint to the first and very wide first corner? Well, it was Schneider with Frentzen right behind him. Ekstrom in third place. Some shrapnel goes flying in the background. And here they are heading up through the dunes. On board briefly with Mika Häkkinen. Schneider in the lead. Aiello taking a trip onto the grass. And this is Mika Häkkinen versus Manuel Reuter. And Reuter down the inside, bang into the side of Häkkinen. Häkkinen spins across in front of them. Well, drama here at Zandvoort. Frentzen in the lead at the moment. Some of the quick boys have made their pit stop. Schneider from Paffett. 40-year-old Bernd Schneider, of course, looking for his first win in almost a year. Here he is late on to the brakes, and bang, just taps the back of Dindo Capello's car. Capello spins round. Schneider is delayed, and any chance of victory going out there. Disappointment for Heinz-Harald Frentzen. He stayed out a long time, and that gamble didn't pay off. He finishes up behind Ekstrom and Paffett. So Frentzen's strategy not working out. Damage to the front of Tom Christensen's car, but he's still pushing on. Meanwhile, action amongst the other Audis. Christian App being chased by Ekstrom. Oh, and App shuts the door on Ekstrom. Ekstrom finally finds a way round Apt. Apt in the older car. Paffett making a very quick pit stop here. And Paffett will exit the pits. And will he be in front of arch rival Ekstrom? Well, you can see it from Ekstrom's camera. Yes, he is. So this race looking good for Gary Paffett. Problems there with a plastic bag blocking the radiator. But it's Paffett who takes the victory, moves back into the lead of the DTM. Ekstrom coming home here to finish in second place. And a superb third place coming up for Heinz-Harald Frentzen, despite using a different strategy to the others.
From the beginning we had a strategy that we went maximum output basically. My competitors pit in early, so we had a strategy change and we stayed out for longer. I just gave everything in this first stint, also my second stint, but because of my strategy the others were very early with the pit stop and their new tires were faster, and so I dropped behind the two leaders.
So Heinz-Harald Frentzen up on the podium. Good to see that as we move on to the ninth, the penultimate round of the DTM. And that held at Euro Speedway, the second running here of the year at the track.
Hi, I'm Bruno Spengler. Welcome to Euro Speedway, and I wish you a lot of fun.
Yes, it was at this track that Laurent Aiello, the 2002 champion when he was driving, of course, for Audi, announced that he was retiring from motor racing. So why had the Frenchman decided to hang up his helmet?
I want to stop my career because I have spent 25 years, competing, and at the moment I am a little bit tired about that, and I want to do something different, and it's difficult to explain, but if I race, I want to be 100%, and at the moment in my head, I was a little bit asking myself if I had to continue or not, and this is not right for me, and I want to stop because, like I said, I am tired with motor racing, and I want to do something different, to have another life. Sorry.
So the end of the road there for the 2002 champion, lifted up there by his two team bosses in recent years. Popular member of the DTM circus. The start though, and Jamie Green off the pole. Watch for Green and Heinz-Harald Frentzen, and it's Opels in first and second places. This is quite something. Frentzen ahead of Reuter, and I think they'd rub wheels with each other into the first corner, but it's Frentzen in the lead. And Jamie Green off that pole position while the others dropping back. Jamie Green had dropped back to fourth place, but still Heinz-Harald Frentzen in the lead. And oh dear, Opel's going everywhere. Frentzen from Reuter. Tomczyk involved in that skirmish. And we can see the start once again. And Jamie Green just didn't get the power down, but Frentzen, an outstanding start from him and into that difficult first corner. Go on board with Gary Paffett now, and this race looking a good one for Paffett. Ekstrom into the pits. Let's see who comes out the quickest. These pit stops are lightning quick, as you can see. Stop for just over 5 seconds. All four wheels changed. Cars going in absolutely every direction here, coming out of the pits. Frentzen and Jamie Green have been in the pits, and problems there for Mika Häkkinen. And here into the pits comes Heinz-Harald Frentzen. This would be vital. Jamie Green behind him, and the two men at the top of the table absolutely wheel to wheel here. Ekstrom with his nose just in front of Gary Paffett. Frentzen rejoins. So, the penultimate round of the season, seeing the top two contenders in tremendous battle. And here they come to the line, and this time it's Ekstrom who takes it just from Paffett. And he goes back into the lead of the championship.
The race was very tough, and already from the beginning I had some small problems with my steering, and it was quite heavy, but I pushed as much as I could, and when I saw Gary in the mirror, I realized this will be one of the longest and hardest races of the year, and that happened as expected, and Gary was very, very close to me, and luckily I could stay in front, and the car was keeping the consistency the whole race, and very, very happy for this victory.
Yes, a very good win for Ekstrom. Just 2 races remaining, and the penultimate round in Istanbul, the 10th round of the championship, and a brand new track. They're racing in Turkey for the very first time.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome in Istanbul. I have the great pleasure to show you the racetrack this weekend.
Yes, this is the 5.3 kilometre brand new Turkish track, designed by German Hermann Tilke, and used just before this event for the Turkish Grand Prix. Some stunning architecture in the pits, and Gary Paffett certainly enjoying the circuit, and these were his thoughts after some practice laps. Yes, the flag's flying for Gary Paffett.
It's got everything a racetrack should have, as well as having, you know, similar sort of undulations to somewhere like Spa. So it definitely makes it very interesting for the drivers.
And interesting weather too, raining in Turkey. Paffett off the pole, Bernd Schneider second, Jamie Green in third place. Paffett at the start ahead of Schneider, takes the lead. Ekstrom in third place, but he needs to be right with Gary Paffett. And pretty heavy rain, as you can see. Big rooster tails behind the cars, and Schneider certainly helping the cause of Gary Paffett here. On board with Tom Christensen. We can see that start again. Bit of bumping and boring from Ekstrom as he tries to force his way through to the front, but only gets up to third place. But a very good start from Ekstrom. Well, Ekstrom leaving the door open there, and Jamie Green goes through. Ekstrom goes wide, and did they touch? Well, if they did, it was only light, but certainly Ekstrom wasn't happy with his car after that incident.
Diaz did an excellent start, but then he had the contact with Jamie Green, and we think that something happened to the car, because short after this contact he just radioed the car is nearly undrivable.
Yeah, so it was all going wrong here for Ekstrom in Turkey, and Ekstrom dropping back. And here you see Margaritas even closing on him, and Ekstrom back in 10th place, completely out of the points. And meanwhile, Paffett was logging up the points at the front of the field. Marcel Fasler also involved in that struggle there. But Matthias Ekstrom not happy at all. Meanwhile, Paffett heading for another 10 points. Here he comes to the line on a wet Turkish day. And Paffett scores and moves back into the lead of the championship with just one round remaining. Ekstrom trailing home in 12th place. And Mika Häkkinen, well, he finished in second. Bernd Schneider was third.
I feel really good. I feel very good, and particularly the reason because we had a program, we had a plan this weekend. We had a serious mission this weekend to get the extremely successful result and maximum points for Gary, which we all did to create that possibility.
Yes, a serious mission which certainly worked, and off to the final round back at Hockenheim where it all started. Well, it was certainly looking good for Gary Paffett, and Mika Häkkinen was coming to the end of his first DTM season.
Hello, this is Mika Häkkinen. Welcome to DTM and come to Hockenheim.
Marcel Fasler with the brolly. The flares go off in the grandstand. Jean Alesi, of course, always popular here. Jean, the winner in the opening round of the season here. And everyone getting wet again. There's Manuel Reuter, Laurent Aiello heading towards his last race. A huge grandstand full to see Jamie Green on pole position again. Green slow away, Christensen second. Bernd Schneider is who goes into the lead. And a sensational start by the veteran Schneider in front of Green. Martin Tomczyk in third place, and Tomczyk spinning there, and Tomczyk spins right through the field without hitting anyone. So Christensen moves up to third place. Heinz Harald Frentzen, he leads the rest of the pack. See the start again. Wow, look at that Audi just going straight to the front. Well, a great start from Tom Christensen. Jamie Green versus Tom Christensen. Tom, of course, with 7 Le Mans victories in his pocket. This is Gary Paffett going past Frank Stippler in one of the older Audis, moving up into 4th place, and that would certainly be good enough to give him the championship if it stayed like this. Ekstrom in problems for a second race running, dropping back behind Jean Alesi and lying in 9th place. The circuit drying, as you can see, and the fight seems to have gone out of Matthias Ekstrom. Meanwhile, Gary Paffett certainly moving up, passes Tom Christensen now in 3rd place. We see it again. Takes a fair bit of curb at that apex, but certainly pushing hard and can start thinking about that big trophy now. Ekstrom up to 6th place, but it's Bernd Schneider, the old master himself, taking victory here. What a way to finish the season. And of course, Gary Paffett takes victory in the championship itself. Finishes 3rd overall. In front of him, Jamie Green, and Schneider, the winner. But what about the man of the moment? He'd fought all the season long with Matthias Ekstrom, and now he was the champion.
It's incredible. I mean, you know, we were very close after Istanbul, but today was the final few points we needed. It's an incredible feeling. You know, the race was pretty hard today, so I didn't get much chance to think about the championship, but it's finally over. We finally won the championship. It was a great feeling.
And won it ultimately with 84 points from Ekstrom 69. Christensen was 3rd. But now we can hear from the runner-up in German. We have to admit, honestly, we gave it our very best shot to defend the championship. But it just didn't quite work out. To be realistic, Gary and Mercedes were just that little bit better than us, and he deserves to be the new champion.